Sa unang bahagi ay tinalakay dito sa hashtag SKL ang kasaysayan ng Bayan Mo Ipatrol Mo, pati na rin ang pagtingin sa kalagayan ng citizen journalism sa bansa. Ngayon, we shall check the current state of citizen journalism and how those historical events led us to the new phase of citizen journalism. O may nagbago nga ba? Meron! Sa tunay nga ay ang laki ng pinag-iba ng citizen journalism noon at ngayon. Theo, hindi pwedeng padalos-dalos kung wala kang ebidensya. Meron ako, no? Sa panayam ko kay Irene Manotok, Chief Content Aggregator ng Bayan Mo Ipatrol Mo, ibinahagi niya ang pasikot-sikot sa BMPM. Well, we already know that today, BMPM continues to feature diverse stories of Filipinos from various communities across the nation through multi-platform reportage. Ano hindi pa namin alam, Theo? Ayon kay Manotok, BMPM roots itself to get these stories from citizens. Pero may dalawa itong uri, ang scouted stories at submitted stories. Sa scouted stories, sila mismo ang naghahanap sa mga kwentong ito mula sa iba't ibang social media platforms. For submitted stories, ito yung mga pinapasa sa kanila o yung mismong sumusulat o nagtatag or mention on their official pages. Oh, so BMPM is really everyone and one stories, no? Pero sabi ko nga, Theo, kailangan ng ebidensya. How does verification works in BMPM? Tama ka naman dyan, Ma. BMPM follows a rigorous process similar to how actual journalism does its fact-checking. For BMPM, may tinatawag silang vetting process where they examine the reports or stories submitted to them or those they scouted. Throughout this process, they verify the profile of the sender. Alam mo naman, uso ang trolls at parody accounts. They also coordinate personally with the senders through messaging platforms at dito sila nanghihingi ng ebidensya. When it comes to the evidence, they are really strict and stern with checking the source itself. Sabi nga ni Ms. Rowena Paraan,
it's guided by the same principles that guide reporters. Verification is the essence of journalism.
part of being a journalist is being of public service. At least that is what ABS-CBN has been doing for years. Theo, paano ito nananatili sa BMPM? Hindi lang nag-isa ang BMPM sa pagpapahayag ng kwento ng mga bayan patroller dahil sila ay konektado mismo sa ABS-CBN News na siyang sumusulat ng mga follow-up stories or extended stories. Manotok argues that BMPM helped ABS-CBN to cover regional community stories, especially after the ABS-CBN shutdown in 2020. Furthermore, for emergency and sensitive stories, BMPM reaches out to authorities to coordinate and assist bayan patrollers about their concerns. Meanwhile, Paraan asserted how BMPM continued its campaigns on media literacy and fighting disinformation through their training and seminars.
We're public service. We help, we are yun yung conduits and we are bridges. We bridge them to proper channel para makatulong sa kanila. Hindi ito kami lang. It's not our stories, it's actually your stories.
Ito ang sagot ni Manotok nang matanong kung anong pinagkaiba ng BMPM sa mga vloggers o blogs na siya rin namang nag-uulat ng kanilang personal stories. For her, malinaw that BMPM is primarily a news organization. Valid point, Theo. With the vetting process Ms. Manotok has mentioned, BMPM really sets themselves apart from what vloggers report. Pero paano yung mga human interest stories or stories that appeal to emotions? Hindi ba nagkakaroon minsan ng romanticization of Filipino struggles disguised as feel-good stories? Same thoughts, Ma. I asked this question to Ms. Manotok and she argued that just as what journalists do, BMPM reports the stories they receive from bayan patrollers and applying journalism ethics. Walang dagdag at walang bawas. Straightforward reporting lamang. For Ms. Paraan naman,
Siguro yung citizen journalism, mahalaga yung term na journalism.
both mentioned that BMPM does not romanticize and it's up to the audiences how they react. However, para kay Manotok, she hopes that somehow may mamumulat din sa consciousness ng mga tao when they see unfortunate stories in BMPM. For example, in a recent December 2022 post of BMPM, it featured the story with the headline, "Lumang bote ng toyo, ginamit na tubigan ng estudyante." The story garnered care or sad reactions from netizens, which could lead us to say that they sympathize with the unfortunate situation of the kid. Through this story, BMPM somehow reinforced the narrative about Filipino resiliency and did not offer a direct solution to address the problem. However, kung titingnan, BMPM is our space, our story. Kwento ng citizens o ng bayan patrollers ito. Tayo-tayo ang bumubuo ng kwento at nagre-react sa kwento. At tanging sila, si Miss Manotok at buong BMPM lamang ang nag-uulat para sa atin. You're right, Theo. In the sense, the new form of citizen journalism in BMPM does not necessarily fixate on romanticizing or disguising the sad reality of our country behind feel-good stories. Rather, these stories are written as they are, portraying reality yet engaging every Filipino to respond and react. Now, does BMPM aims to reinforce the voice of bayan patrollers or more on to engage and empower Filipinos? Well, for Manotok, Paraan, and I, it's all in one. In general, we can see that Bayan Mo Ipatrol Mo already made a mark in our social and cultural public history. In time, citizen journalism evolved from I to we. From sharing individual stories to amplifying our community stories. From being an initiative to engage Filipinos to exercise and protect their right to vote to a community of storytellers, BMPM showed stories from all walks of life, became a witness to our country's progress, and empowered ordinary citizens to be truth tellers in the age of disinformation.
In terms of role, yung pinakamalaki niyang tingin ko importanteng ipinakita is that ordinary citizens can have a part in news gathering, processing, and dissemination. Pero pinakita rin niya na mahalaga yung training. At yun yung big difference between the ordinary bloggers. Meron siyang ino-contribute, hindi rin natin yun minamaliit, but yung process ng verification is something that is important in how Bayan Mo Ipatrol Mo does it.
Kaya ko pala. Pwede pala ako maging isang bayan patroller, pwede pala ako maging isang citizen journalist. Basta lang ma-report ko ng tama, ng kumpleto, at walang panloloko, pwede pala ako maging citizen journalist.
It's now clear to us that BMPM commits itself to journalism. Yes, citizens share their stories and BMPM puts out the stories to the public. Ngunit nananatili ang journalism principles and ethics as these stories get published. After all, BMPM is not just a platform for Filipinos to be heard. It is a space, a community for personal growth, to listen to your fellow, to understand the reality of life, to champion successes, and to empower or feel empowered as a productive citizen of the country. Kaya naman, tunay na #SKN. Yung share ko o share mo lang, ipagtingin na sa lente ng inyong kapwa. Kung ano yung danas nila, yung realidad nila, yung saya o lungkot nila, at yung boses nila, rinig at kita mo sa pamamagitan ng pagpapatrol sa bayan mo.